Hello and welcome to yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. Scott here, and I know I've been fooling around with the format a little bit in the previous episodes of my unboxings, but due to some issues with the camera and me just not really giving a crap to troubleshoot it much more, today's episode will be without my floating head or one of the new introductions. But anyways, let's take a look at what we have here today, and as you can tell, we have the Mothership Sci-Fi Horror RPG by Tuesday Night Games, the Core Box Set. Now, this may rankle a few people because I know that this has been a long-delayed and long-awaited Kickstarter, and unfortunately at this time, not everyone has received their box set. Now, there's various types of box sets that were included with this Kickstarter. This is just the standard core set. There was an ultimate box set or something such as that that I decided not to go with because primarily a lot of the stuff that came with that deluxe set was a bunch of stuff I already had. And, you know, the need to have a special fancy box to hold everything in just, you know, wasn't my thing. I was more interested in the new game. But anyways, for those of you in the UK, and elsewhere around the world, I feel for you, and hopefully your box set will be arriving soon, but at the very least, you can take a look at what is inside here to know what to expect when it arrives. So, for those of you not familiar with Mothership, as stated on the title there, it is a sci-fi horror RPG. The Kickstarter came out for its first edition. The previous edition was a zine that was widely popular when it came out. It birthed several iterations of it under its core rules, a variety of adventures, pamphlet games, and other versions that were all compatible as long as you had the original Mothership set of rules. But due to its popularity, they decided to clean up the rules a little bit, add a couple few bells and features to it, and come out with this Kickstarter for this new edition. So the rules might be slightly changed, but it's still going to be relatively the same, and hopefully the rules presented herein may have cleaned up some of the issues people had, but also maybe fine-tuned it a bit. Personally, I had no real issues with the original set of rules. I've ran several games with it, thoroughly enjoyed it, think it's a fantastic con game for one-shots and whatnot. Never really saw it as something I would run a campaign with just because of the deadly aspect of the game. But beyond that, it's a lot of fun to play and a lot of fun to run. Excuse me a moment. There we go. So, again, as I said earlier, for those not familiar with it, Mothership, as stated on the back here, is the award-winning sci-fi horror role-playing game where you and your crew try to survive in the most inhospitable environment in the universe, outer space. Explore unknown star systems, excavate derelict spacecraft, and exterminate alien life forms, vac suit not included. For ages 13 plus, okay, 2+ players, and takes 2+ hours to play. So a nice little kind of nod to what you usually kind of see on board games, I think. Not a big board gamer myself, but I'm usually used to seeing that kind of information on there. Anyways, nice to know. You know, if you pick up this game you're not familiar with, it's like, I can run it in 2 hours and have fun, which is true. So, what's inside, as stated here, is a player's survival guide, which is a 44-page core rulebook, the Wardens operation manual, which is a 60-page guide to preparing and running your own adventure. The Warden is the GM of this game. Shipbreaker's Toolkit, a 44-page book with stats for 10 ships and rules for space travel. Unconfirmed contact reports, a 58-page collection of unique horrors for your adventures. Another bug hunt, a 44-page introductory adventure. A Warden screen, 5 by 5 by 2.5 by 5, or is that 25? To full trifold reference screen with all the information you need to play. Double-sided poster map, and 13 plus heavy cardstock pawns, a set of D100 dice. It is a D100 roll under game, and a custom panic die. So this is, not a conventional unboxing. It did arrive with a couple other bits and bobs. There was like a T-shirt and a couple patches, but I didn't really feel the need to do the full unboxing with this. I was primarily interested in what's inside here, and I have not taken a look inside of it yet. So without further ado, let's take a look and see what we got. Let's set the lid aside over there. All right, so as we see here, we've got a couple of, we got some percentile dice and a D20, which is that the custom panic die, I guess. It's just a yellow D20. I don't see anything custom about it, but anyways, new dice. Never go wrong with that. What do we have here? These look like, these must be standees for the cardboard tokens. I did see something on social media regarding the printing of the tokens, and hopefully it might have been a mistake with the one person who received it, but we'll find out. The issue with the alignment of the tokens, looking at the pictures the other person presented, was not a deal breaker, but considering the delay and the time it took to make this game, you almost kind of expect everything to be perfect. So, all right, what do we have here first? Oh, very nice. So it's a little cardboard, little teeny tiny cardboard GM screen. It's kind of cool. Being somewhat familiar with the rules, not with the rule set, because I have not looked at the PDF when it was dropped. Seems to be fairly accurate as far as what it's provided here. I'm sure there's extra rules that come with this new edition, but for the most part, I never really thought that you needed, something like a GM screen for Mothership, because the rules pretty much were self-explanatory once you learn them, and kind of fit into a nice, neat little cheat sheet. But regardless, this is a neat little oddity and teeny tiny, so if you're not into GM screens, it's something that would easily lay out flat in front of you and have the rules just displayed therein. And very nice and evocative black and white artwork, which is typical of a lot of the Mothership illustrations and for its supplements and adventures. All right, let's move this over here. And what else do we have here? This looks like this might be the map. And it's a double-sided map. Obviously, it's not going to fit entirely within the camera, but we'll make do the best we can. All right, so it's portrait mode. Looks like we have some information on... This looks like this must be some sort of ship, yes, with different levels, along with room descriptions and features. Not entirely sure if this is part of the adventure or it's just a ship for you to utilize for yourself within the game. And then what do we have here? We have information regarding some sort of chart. I think it's this ship combat, possibly, yes. So we got range between hailing latency and beyond, contact firing detection beyond, so on and so forth. Saw the word mega damage here. Kind of obviously evokes the aspects of rifts within that, but again, I don't recall mega damage being a thing with Mothership. But then again, all the games that I played never really dealt with any sort of ship combat or travel. The spaceship was always kind of like a secondary thing for these one-shots. All right, so we have some of the tokens here, along with some of the character tokens here. So just curious, because this is the one thing that was presented. So as you can tell, this little guy here in his spacesuit, or gal, is not centered within the the cardboard rectangle here. It's kind of centered near the bottom with a lot of white space on top. And I think the person's complaint was, because of that, a lot of the details was stuck behind the little standee. So yeah, I mean, I could see it. I don't really understand why they didn't push the image up, so the standee clip here didn't block the details of the drawing, as minuscule as it is. It's just blocking the feet, and does it remove any sort of immersion? Not really. It's a it's a cardboard token. So, but still, and it seems to be that way for the other ones here. Maybe there's a reason for it. Not entirely sure, but yeah, me personally, I would have pushed the image towards the top and kept the bottom part white, so the clip wouldn't remove some of the aspects of the drawing. But is it a deal breaker? Not really, but again, I'm just complaining to complain. So we've got more character tokens here. It looks like a couple ship tokens. I believe that this looks like this ship that's on the map there, so it probably is part of the adventure. Yep, there we go. Set that aside. And then what do we have here first? So we have the player's survival guide. So this looks almost identical, just from the general look, looking at it as the original zine when it came out. Although I can already tell that there's a bit of different information in here. But as stated, character creation is a relatively easy process. The character sheet itself has a guided process to go through character creation, which you really didn't need the rules for the most part. There were some minor details that you potentially needed, but for the most part, just having the character sheet in front of you, you could create a character in less than a few minutes and be up and running without having the GM guide you through it. So the game itself consists of 4 stats: strength, speed, intellect, and combat. You roll 2 10-sided die, add them together, then add 25. These are your stats, with a stat of 36 being average, but it declares here, don't get too hung up on the numbers. There's also other aspects. There's your saves, sanity, fear, and body. Again, roll 2 10-sided dice, add them together, then add 10, and those are your roll saves. Then you have 4 standard classes to choose from within the game. There's plenty of other class options out there through, other companion books and third-party aspects provided. But the core 3 are your standard alien movie tropes: Marines, androids, scientists, and teamsters. And with them comes a bit of pluses and minuses. And then you roll for your health. And then stress. Stress is a big part of the game. Stress is what triggers horrible aspects that we rolled upon on a random table, and they can totally affect your game or even kill you instantly, depending on how much stress you have and how the die rolls for you. So then you get to choose a particular set of skills to begin with. Starting off, depending, I believe you have so many points. Choose a skill. You must have at least one prerequisite. So skills begin with trained, and then there's prerequisites, as you can see by the guided character sheet, that are required to obtain them, and then following up into master skills if you live that long. Again, there's nothing that states that you can't run a campaign, but it requires a lot of management, or it did. Maybe they ease off a bit on the situational stress within the game, but it's part of it. It's a horror RPG, sci-fi horror RPG. So you need to proceed carefully. If you're in a new alien landscape and there's flora in front of you, do not take off your helmet and take a smell of it. Things might leap on your face and embed an egg. You think they would learn that by now. So you get starting credits and then a particular set of loadouts here. So this looks to be something new, the Marine loadouts with a random die roll, or I would imagine you can just pick them if the GM allows. Then you get a particular trinket, again, a random die roll, a lot of interesting items that are essentially here, for color and to... I believe there was a mechanical aspect to it, but it's been so long since I played it, and unfortunately, due to the tremendous delay of the game and all the other games I'm involved in, this looks like this might be shelved for a bit because I really don't have any openings to either run or play in a new game for a while now. which is a good thing. But it does put a bit of a damper on games that you've been excited about and waiting for, and when they arrive, you're just like, there's nothing I can do. I just have to wait for a better time to play these games. Equipment descriptions, along with illustrations of the various equipment, illustrations of the armor within the game, and this is definitely more detailed than what was provided in the original zine, and safety instructions, how to play the game, modifying stats. So these things were somewhat provided within the game, but it looks like it tends to go into more details here regarding skills and their details, training within a skill, aspects of military training, dealing with violent encounters, turn order combat, and so on and so forth, attacking and defending within the game, dealing with wounds, and finally death. And then special things regarding range and distance, survival in various atmospheres and temperatures. This is a not just survival horror, but there's the aspects of space and alien worlds that require you to be wary of things like oxygen, radiation, exhaustion from traveling. The necessary needs of food and water. That's going to affect you within the game if they're not readily available. Dealing with medical care and treatments. I think this is new. I could be wrong. They have here a neat little example of play. Dealing with ports. As you're traveling through space, it looks like this might be a way to create random ports for them to access. And contractors, essentially, henchmen, excuse me, henchmen or minions that you can hire to help out to essentially be cannon fodder. So they die first and not you. So yeah. All right. So yeah, there's a little bit of general information on the back here that's probably associated or included with the little GM screen. So for the most part, it looks like that does generally provide the information to play the game. But this is something new. The Wardens Operation Manual. The original one did not have anything detailed regarding that. Excuse me. But I think this is one of the things that they wanted to provide. And maybe it's because a lot of people looked at Mothership like this is a great game, but this is something that doesn't have any long-term qualities in regards to running a game. Most everyone ran it as a one-shot, and probably due to the aspect that it was very deadly. Most Mothership games that I have run, and not through any sort of GM influence, ended up with everyone or most everyone dead. Sometimes very early in the game. So things can spiral downhill fairly quickly. So what do they provide with you in here? So it looks like there's some random tables in here to create horrors, the monstrosities and things that they will encounter in the game, different themes to lean upon for creating your sessions with, choosing a starting scenario. So it looks like there's a lot of good information for those who may not be familiar with either Mothership or how to run a particular Mothership game. So this is very helpful. This is probably the one aspect that I was looking forward to the most. So planning for failure, someone to save. So this is interesting. This is the one that I would like to. I'll probably, even though I won't play it, this is one I'll probably sit down with and maybe read during my casual reading time and just see what all they provided within here. Well, there you go. So here's information on running your first session. So this is very helpful. This is a nice add-on from the original game because, if you're not familiar with how Mothership functions, again, you can have a TPK within an hour and a half of running your first session due to unfamiliarity with the rules and your players not really understanding how the game works. And treating the game more as a sci-fi adventure than a sci-fi horror game. So yeah, this looks fantastic, and wonderful bits of information here that I assume in various aspects like this can be applied to any other game. So there could be useful information in here that you can, even though you may not be running Mothership, you can definitely utilize their techniques in whatever game you're running. So helpful campaign frames, space trekkers go with the old alien trope, mercenaries, explorers, corporate inspectors, bounty hunters, which is a fun one, and creating a starting area, and so on and so forth. Telling a good story, ending your campaign, and then with random charts for creating planets and factions. So great. A wonderful, wonderful little tool here. What does this say on the back, though? Congratulations on becoming a proud owner of the Mothership Wardens Operations Manual. In purchasing this product, you agree to run Mothership for your designated friends and family in accordance with the following rules. Very cool. All right. That's yeah, cute little jokey joke there. More books. All right, so the Shipbreaker's Toolkit. So this is another aspect. So yeah, there was a minor bit of information in the zine on how to create your ship. And to be perfectly honest, I wasn't a big fan of it. Never really got around to doing anything with it. And it looks like they may have upgraded that aspect within here. Also providing a lot of ship examples to create your ship. Kind of seems to be going for a bit of a more traditional layout for your ships. I could be wrong in that. But it is nice that they've provided several different examples, whereas creating your just a regular old ship from scratch using the zine rules could be a bit confusing, and a lot of people may have looked at it and just I don't want to deal with this, and just had a ship serve one purpose, getting someplace and leaving someplace. All right, so that's nice, and then so here's your Mothership ship manifest creation sheet, and along with spec sheets of the ones that they provided. So very cool. So yes, definitely more defined. The game is definitely more defined. So very happy about that. So this looks like it is the bestiary, unconfirmed contact reports, how to use this book, providing you with a bit of details there on, what the defined areas are and what they mean. Ooh, okay. So I am partially colorblind, and mind you, this is no fault of the publishers and the illustrators and the layout designers of these books, because obviously they're not aware. But I do like to point out that certain things like this, this black on brown or black on red background, does make it relatively hard for people with either partial color blindness or total color blindness. They're not going to be able to read this at all. The best they could probably do is take a picture of it with their phone and, brighten it or do some sort of reversal of color in there to make the lettering stand out. But just looking at myself, I cannot tell you anything that within these words here until we get down into the lighter, more tan parts. But anyhow, again, not their fault, because it's definitely something that not everyone is aware of. But it would be nice if if people become more aware of that when they publish these books. It's an artistic decision. These backgrounds do definitely add to it, the aesthetic. But realistically, they're not necessary, and some other artistic expressions can be utilized. But again, going to be having a lot of interesting and different art types, it looks like, within the book for these various monsters. Now, again, the original zine did not provide you a lot. There was a few aspects within the book, but essentially relied on you as the GM to create these various monstrosities, and likewise you would pick some up if you got any of the secondary books or third-party products that were presented by a lot of the talented creators out there. So it looks like these go into a lot of different varieties and details, from just, particular specific creatures to, I would imagine intelligent haunted areas like Cabin 102B. So again, this would definitely be an interesting read to go through, and looks like with a large variety to choose from, and the interesting and evocative and immersive artwork, a lot of inspiration within this book. So definitely, again, adding more details and creative aspects and outlets with the box set as opposed to what the original zine provided. Big plus right there too. So not going to be able to, I'm going to stick too long on these because obviously there's going to be spoilers if you're players within the game. I mean, if you pause it to read it, that's on you. Or you. So, oh, excellent. Love how that one worked out. And looks like this is just an index. Yeah, just an index, not a random table. And a bit of 5 quick core suggestions in the back. Wonderful. All right. So, and finally, another bug hunt, the adventure that came with it. How many pages is it? So it's 43 pages. Very nice. And it looks like it does follow the standard, a lot of the standard layout and design aspects of Mothership. No 2 pages are relatively the same, as long as everything fits together and is easily, easily readable. And it looks like this is, which is nice. And looks like there's several different scenario aspects within here, or several different chapters, so to speak. So, obviously you can play it as one large scenario, or borrow bits and pieces of it and use them as one-shots. A lot of Mothership games were like that. They essentially provided you a toolbox or a sandbox with some adventures within it that you could run a full campaign with, but a lot of them could also be utilized as standalone adventures, and most of them were a lot of fun. So we have a handy-dandy organizational chart, so it looks like you're going to be dealing with a lot of NPCs within the game, so be aware, and a lot of different locations, which is fun. Not really sure if it's within the same location and you're moving about, but regardless, looks like a great little adventure. And carcinid trait, random table here. Interesting. So, yeah, nice little adventure. So yeah, that's pretty much the standard Mothership box set. Until I get a moment to sit down and read through it in details, I won't be able to point out exactly what's different, but it definitely provides you, a solid foundation to run or start up a new Mothership adventure or campaign using these first edition rules, so to speak, and definitely a lot of stuff in here to. It looks like it does provide you enough that the idea of a Mothership campaign is a lot more real than what it once was, which is good to know. Wonderful. So, was it worth the wait? I don't know. We will have to wait and see until I get a moment to sit down and read it in detail, or get a moment to either play the game or have the game be run for me. But as far as its presentation and what it provides, definitely worth the money, without question. As far as the other baggage is concerned, enough's been said about that. I don't need to buy both myself and other people, but it still is a shame that there's still people out there waiting for this wonderful little box of goodies, while others are receiving it and enjoying themselves with it. But hopefully it will be rectified soon, and, in time, the grumbling and mumbling may subside, and if the day comes that there's a Mothership Second Edition that comes out, maybe some of the aspects regarding it will be handled better. I mean, hey, it's not like it's the only popular publisher out there who's had issues with a Kickstarter. but has made good in future Kickstarters after the fact. I'm looking at you, Chaosium, and looking at you, Arcdream. But both of you have obviously made good on that with the future Kickstarters that you've provided after the fact. So, hey, forgiveness, right? Forgiveness and redemption, that should always be something that people should consider when dealing with things like that. But for now, if you don't have the box set, feel free to continue to moan and groan, because realistically speaking, this should have been here a long time ago. So there you go. This has been yet another completely unprofessional unboxing with Mothership, the sci-fi horror RPG. Thank you for watching, and there's going to be another short little unboxing. Well, not really a traditional unboxing, but it's a book that was provided as a gift from my friend Matt, and we'll be taking a look at the White Box role-playing game. So look forward to that dropping soon after this one comes out. And if you like any of these other videos, please definitely like and subscribe. Hopefully now that the school year is almost done, I'll be coming out with more videos, more unboxings, more polls from the shelf, hopefully some other things regarding the channel that I've been working on for a long time, but just due to personal and family setbacks, just not has allowed me to have any free time to do any of the recordings. And finally, if you enjoy RPG podcasts, definitely check out Titterpigs, the tabletop RPG podcast that I do with my friend Keith, who is the editor and contributor of Rolling Boxcars. Definitely check out his site for articles on role-playing games, and reviews. Everyone, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.